Hello, everyone, and welcome to At America. At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. And hello, my name is Patricia Elizabeth. I'm one of the e-guide here, and you're watching AI in Journalism, a Bane or a Boon. Today, we're going to discover the impact of AI in journalism. Join our speakers for an engaging discussion on using AI wisely to mitigate hoax and disinformation. But before we start our discussion, we have trivia quiz for you who join us via online platforms. And the question is it true or false? AI will be far from the only thing that shapes the news and the public arena in the coming years. You can submit your answer to our social media platforms, and if you can guess correctly, you will get a live shout-out from us at the end of this event. And now to begin our discussion, we're going to hear opening remarks from Deputy Press Attaché, U.S. Embassy Jakarta. Everyone, please give a big round of applause to Nick Geisinger.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Everyone, welcome to At America. It's always so great to be back here. Yes, my name is Nick Geisinger. I'm the Deputy Spokesperson for U.S. Embassy Jakarta. Wonderful to have you here today. I love coming to At America. My favorite thing to do is to speak with the students. I understand you came from maybe a little bit far away. Universitas Multimedia Nusantara, that's you all, right? All right, let's see who's going to be louder. And then we have Universitas Indonesia Esa Unggul. All right. And I hear we also have some IT and tech enthusiasts with us as well. You know, I'm not surprised that we have such a mix of an audience because AI is something we are all interested in right now. It's entering the classroom. It's entering the newsrooms. We're trying to figure out the implications of what that means. It's speeding certain things up, but at the same time, what are the risks? Are there perhaps integrity issues that we have to think about when it comes to AI technology? And then, of course, hoaxes, deep fakes. We know that AI plays a role there as well, and that is something that I know all of us in Indonesia and the United States, especially in our election year, our shared election year of 2024, are keeping an eye on very closely. So 2024 is also the 75th anniversary of diplomatic relations, as she mentioned before. And our theme for the year is diversity, democracy, prosperity. And I think AI, although it factors into all of those, I think democracy is really the one that I start thinking about when it comes to artificial intelligence and how it's going to play out. So I know we're going to have a very interesting discussion today, and I want to thank our speakers who are with us. Melissa, who is joining us from afar, maybe we'll see her in a bit, bright and early from Virginia. Oh, there she is. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good morning to you. Good evening, afternoon to us. Ibu Ides from Kominfo, thank you so much for being here, for sharing the government perspective. We have Pak Laban from Narasi. Thank you, Laban. I know your outlet has been a pioneer on this issue. And of course, Pak Alvin, thank you for moderating. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your experience as well. So once again, thanks to everyone for coming, and let's have a great discussion today.
Thank you so much, Pat Nick, for your warm opening remarks. And now to begin our discussion, allow me to invite our amazing moderator. He is a lecturer at Universitas Multimedia Nusantara. Everyone, please welcome Silvanus Alvin.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Once again, I would like to introduce my name. can I stand a bit? Yeah, it's okay for you? Uh, my name is Alvin, and I'm from Universitas Multimedia Nusantara, and I'm very excited of course, to the U.S. Embassy for inviting me as a moderator for today's event. And I would like to open this event based on my experience, just a little bit, a personal experience. This is my third time coming into the At America. The first time I coming as a participant, just as like yourself, sama seperti kalian. The second time, when I was working as a journalist in Liputan 6 SCTV, I was invited to the At America to learn more about the environmental journalism. That's the second time. And the third time is I'm standing right here in the stage as a moderator. I think what Nick said is I'm rising up the ladders. So that's just a personal experience from me. Now, so if today's topics, we are going to talk about AI in journalism, a Bane or a Boon. We know that AI is a new word. It's a buzzword. It exploded in all Google search. But AI, firstly, is founded in 1956 at the Dartmouth conference back in the US. Now, the development or the increasing AI uses is happening in the 2022. Because of what? Because of the ChatGPT. And it disrupts many things from maybe as a student, you use ChatGPT to answer the question for the midterm or the final test. But that's not the opportunity that the AI gives to you. There's a lot of things like what Nick said, hoaxes, deep fake, changing the voices, and anything. Therefore, there's a lot of opportunity, but there are also a lot of drawbacks from AI. In Indonesia, in the journalism studies, in the journalism practice, there are the first one is Berita Tagar ID. They cover the sport news, and then last year, TV1 released AI presenters, and I really think it is very important for us and a lot of the participants from the youngsters to understand about AI. Therefore, we have three speakers. The first one, Miss Melissa Herway, who joined us online. She is globally recognized as a thought leader in the fields of cybersecurity and digital risk management. She also served in 2 US presidential administration as the spearheading the cyberspace policy review for President Barack Obama and leading the comprehensive national cybersecurity initiative for President George W. Bush. Please give Ms. Melissa a very warm welcome by applauding him. Next up, I want to invite Ms. Ides or Mediodesi Lustarini. She is the senior legal analyst team for corporation affairs of the Directorate General of Public Information and Communication Ministry of Communication and Informatics Cominfo. To Ms. Ides, please we give her the warm applause from us. And yeah, join me in the stage. And lastly, we have Mr. Laban Laisila, who is an award-winning journalist and also the head of newsroom in Narasi. He is also an AJI chief candidate. He is responsible Including supervising in-depth story programs, as well as managing the production of news updates and features. Once again, give us a warm applause to Mr. Laban. Okay, without further ado, I really think that we need to have a very deep understanding about what is AI, what is this phenomenon. Therefore, I ask and I also invite Ms. Melissa to give us the explanation. The time is yours, Ms. Melissa.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen. And hopefully that is working. Can you see it fine?
Okay, now it's on.
Okay, excellent. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very excited to be with you this afternoon. I am honored to be on sharing the stage, albeit virtually, with my colleagues. I prepared a few presentation slides on AI and journalism in particular. And artificial intelligence is really important, as our host has told us, Alvin. You know, it's been around since 1956, but it didn't really become part of our national narratives until 2022 because of ChatGPT or Bard and all of the different computing platforms that are starting to use the large amounts of data that we've generated all over the world. But it's about the computer systems that are capable of performing tasks that used to only be done by a human, such as reasoning or solving problems or coming up with answers to your tests or hypotheses for your term papers or for your master's theses, etc. And so now, if a computer can actually write the news story, we have to actually ask the question about where are we thinking about information coming from? What is truth? What is not true? How do we think about integrity and the like? And so it really starts to question, how we think about the democracy or diversity of ideas if the computer already has a bias toward giving you a particular types of answers based on the data that has been generated for these math equations or for the computer systems. So when you think about artificial intelligence and how it's actually changing, and there are lots of different ways to manipulate the conversation or manipulate the online information space. We've seen manipulated photos and doctored photos. This is not new. This is something that used to be very manual in labor, and now it's quite easy to swap a face or touch up a makeup or change a hair color or doctor a video. And you start to see it's in mainstream media with some of the challenges that Taylor Swift and others are having with photos being manipulated online. We are also seeing voice being manipulated and or used. We had here in the United States, we had a phone call that was distributed during some elections that was in theory to be President Biden, but it wasn't President Biden. It was a synthetically generated or an AI, artificial intelligence generated voice that looked or it sounded like President Biden. And it's quite easy to do, especially if somebody is giving speeches in online media all the time. It's quite easy to actually then mimic their voice and create a synthetically generated voice. But we're also starting to see synthetic generated videos, hoax or deep fakes that are just changing or alternating the truth just a very small bit. We're seeing this actually now happening over in India on the elections that are happening in India against some of President Modi's actual competitors or the people who are running against him. We're seeing changes in videos in the Hamas and Gaza Strip, and it's quite troubling because we as individuals don't know what is true and what is false, what was synthetically generated from a computer and what was actually real and videoed from a phone or from a camera, etc. And so we have to start to question how things and people or adversaries might be manipulating that conversation. So these are algorithmic generated information, math generated, computer generated information that we need to start to think about. Is it true or is it false? So websites are starting to host AI created false articles. And it's increased more than 1,000% in the last year, where we've gone from just 40 to 6,000 different websites that are hosting AI generated false articles. And that disinformation as a service it's inexpensive. It only costs about $15 for a media article or opinion piece to be generated. And we're starting to see that false news stories will spread like a virus, 70% more likely to spread than a true story because it has something in it that is I would call sticky, something that is generating an interest that people want to share it. Not that they should share it, but they want to share it because it's so outrageous or it's so informative and everything. So the disinformation as a service, it's inexpensive, and it is it's not illegal to share or to spread the false information. And this is where we're going to hear a little bit about some of the regulation later that is happening around the world of how do we as governments or how do we as individuals start to tell the difference, discern the difference between true and false, and should we start to make the spread of false information illegal? We certainly have from some aspects of from a counterterrorism perspective, for example, in Singapore, there's the Countering of False Information Act that you can't, in fact, generate and spread it. But this is only one or two countries that are actually starting to move forward with making it illegal versus a national overall and international conversation. The information is targeted, and again, I call it sticky because it actually is based in marketing and the content of what is attractive to you. I would argue that some national brands of the United States are really sticky, Coca-Cola, and they give you a jingle, a song that makes it so that you can remember it, and that's what you want. Or in advertising for cigarettes, they used to be very also sticky. That was like you were tough if you had you were a strong person and attractive if you actually smoked cigarettes. So think about this as the marketing around the content, but the content in the disinformation world, this algorithmic generated information, it helps perpetuate a bias that you might have. I don't like that particular country. I don't like that particular population. I don't actually like that particular brand. If you think about Coke versus Pepsi, it actually also starts to compromise logical thinking. We call this cognitive hacking of really kind of thinking about how you as an individual have been trained to think about what's right and wrong, what you should be doing from a societal norm and or not be doing from a societal norm. And so it compromises the way you have actually been brought up to think about things. And then it can, in fact, exploit a psychological vulnerability. I'm afraid of that particular event or that type of issue. And so when you start to think about this, if it's rooted in marketing, it's rooted in what you want to see. It's rooted in and has a basis for what you find attractive and what you want to continue to read. And so it's a kind of it continues to perpetuate this the information that you want to have. And if you think about like a TikTok algorithms actually start to know what type of music you like and what you prefer, and then it'll keep on pushing you information of what you prefer. This is the same type of information targeting that we're seeing from the algorithms, the math. The math actually knows what you like, and then it pushes it to you. So disinformation is really about deliberately manipulating the environment, undermining how you think about things, trying to deceive you, to push you in a particular direction, could even cause harm. And so we're seeing like a number of different trends, cultivating fake or misleading personas and websites. So I already said there's thousands of websites that are propagating false information. But then there's also people, your avatar could be a misleading persona. I just created the avatar because that's something that you want to see. It's not necessarily really me as an individual. And so you have to start to question, is that a computer generated persona, or is that a real person that I'm talking to? We've talked a little bit about deep fakes and synthetic media. Synthetic media is a photo, it's a video, it's a voice generated from a computer. And we're seeing this again all over the world, where we're seeing deep fakes or synthetically generated false information. We're also seeing the news stories amplify conspiracy theories or talk about events that aren't actually true or about individuals. And this can be from, again, the high profile movie star or singer to a high profile politician. We're seeing the abuse of alternative platforms, and that could be the social media, it's the websites, and almost an amplification of information on different types of platforms. So I'll start a conversation, let's say in Facebook, and then you'll see something appear in a TikTok video, and then you'll see an information, a story in a media outlet. And it's all really kind of planned based on each of those platforms of what is the type of content that you would like to have. Exploiting data gaps is, I'm going to tell you a story, and I'm going to leave some of that story out. And when I leave some of that story out, I'm going to exploit that data gap, and I'm going to fill in part of that story and make it plausible so it sounds like it could be true. And then we start to see it really is eroding confidence in fact-based reporting. Can I believe that media outlet to tell me the truth? Is that story real? Was there really an earthquake in this particular region? Was there really a fire? Did that politician really say that? And these are the things that we have to be asking ourselves as we're starting to look at of what's happening. Is it a Bane or is it a Boon in the media industry? And that requires us to think about, how do I protect myself, or how do I think about a solution? You have to verify now before you trust, because there's just so much false information that's out there. I call it, it's the debt of truth, right? That there's not there anymore. So you have to question the source. Where is it coming from? Is it coming from a trusted media outlet, or is it on my social media, which is not necessarily a trusted source for information? When you start to see a sticky story, something that really is like, wow, I can't believe somebody said that, or wow, that's really interesting, or oh my gosh, is the stock market really going to crash? You have to think before you link to it, because you are all very connected people using social media, spreading information. So if you're going to spread information, you really need to think and question the source. Is this true or is it false? Because you don't want to be part of spreading the false information. And then as you as an individual, you need to think about minimizing your digital exposure. My boys are 23 and 24 years old, and I have a pretty large family, and we talk about how much information you post on a Facebook or on Twitter or on the different, or even post within TikTok. When you think about all of the information you could post, it's then very easy to then create a false persona, or somebody that looks and sounds like you, who knows who all your friends are, and who might be able to exploit that for harm. So thinking about how much information you post, I think of it as too much information that you might post, as you want to protect yourself and your family, and from some of this the algorithmic generated misinformation and or targeting of people. And unfortunately, at the national level and at the international level, there's no consistent approach from a policy perspective, from a legal and regulatory framework, even from a technology perspective. We don't use common definitions of what is this algorithmic warfare, if you will, or disinformation, misleading content, manipulation of information. We don't have a common taxonomy that we use at the university level or even in the technology plane. So as we start to create the counter technologies, we're not thinking through it. And we don't have a common policy perspective or national approach to law or regulation, nor do we have a real response of how do we defend the population from misinformation or from the fake news or from the hoaxes. And so there's a lot of work to be done at the policy level that we need to be thinking about at the national level. And I look forward to hearing from my colleagues on these areas. So in summary, there are a number of resources that are coming online that you as university students and you as individuals can start to look at. MIT here in the United States, the Media Lab has got actually a fair amount of technical competitions where we're actually awarding grants on how do we think about the content takedown, identification of synthetic media, whether that's a photo or a voice or a video. The EU Disinformation Lab in Europe has an amazing resource, a not-for-profit institution that's working with media, with technologists and policymakers to try to come up with that common taxonomy and how do we come up with solutions. And then also Carnegie Mellon University here in the United States is looking at deep fake detection and how do we think about a human in the loop and then also tagging the data. So as the social media platforms of Facebook and the TikTok and everything have to start to mark and put a symbol next to something that's synthetically generated, Carnegie Mellon University is one of the universities working on that, kind of verifying that it is an actual individual that's created it versus a computer that's created it. That's my conclusion of opening remarks. I'm really looking forward to your questions. And thank you so much for having me here this afternoon with you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Melissa, for your enlightening presentation. Now we know that there's a dark side of AI that bring us that can threaten our daily life. So we can move on right now to Miss Ides. I'm sorry, Bu Ides. Now Miss Ides can delve deeper about what the government doing right now about the AI. What's their approach for the regulation? So Miss Ides, the floor is yours. Kita kasih sambutan hangat untuk Ibu Ides.
Thank you so much, Mas Alvin. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Mediodeci Lustarini, but my friends, and you may call yourself my friend, is calling me Ides. So, okay. Thank you for the session before. Melissa has raised about what happened in the world of AI space. That the AI has become a new discourse in our life, and it's growing in discussion regarding how AI has, like Mas Alvin said, has a dark side. So in terms of regulation, here I show you there is a study from ASEAN AI landscape. This is within the ASEAN itself. There is a key findings from review of an AI government publications. The first one in terms of target audience. AI governance still targeting most frameworks and regulations still targeting to the developers and also the implementers. So here AI system developers and implementers are being targeted by the frameworks or the regulation in AI governance. And normally it using guidelines or policy in response to AI usage. And then second, in terms of initiative, it just providing recommended. So it's not really a regulation when we in terms of AI. It's still recommendation for action or further policies, and how the national government could develop governance mechanisms and frameworks to build digital ecosystem for AI and upskilling workers. So we still nurture the innovation. We're not looking yet to the dark side. And then the highlight is that the most of the governments has acknowledged that the nature of AI space is changing, it's developing, it's still robust. That's why the governor is still living document, they said, because it keeps monitored and updated in periodically. And then most guidelines are preferable rather than having a solid legislation. This is the landscape of AI in within ASEAN itself. And the principle mentioned is most ethical and value-based principles. And then if we can see the key commonalities in current AI initiative within the ASEAN, that the strategic initiative still the talent, manpower, it's become the priorities, and then the innovation and research also become the priorities. The governments for implementation of regulatory frameworks, again, it's not a regulation yet, but it's still a regulatory frameworks for developing and applying AI in our daily lives. Also the infrastructure, because we're still struggling with infrastructure for setting up the systems to support data sharing, the safe and secure data sharing, and the development of AI system itself. And then if you can see the common priority areas within ASEAN, there is no journalism there. So it's still covering the healthcare, education, smart cities, finance, etc. But they still not targeting the industry, the media industry, the journalism industry. So we can see here, it's the landscape of AI. And then why we should work, why AI in journalism is a ban or a boon. We should do this. Why? Because impact of AI on the development and media journalism is huge. AI has become the new media actors. It's not just becoming a tools here, but it's also becoming media actors. Maybe some of you can see from your social media. There is an account of social media in Indonesia itself that show content that based on AI. I think most of you have seen it. And we have our national TV channel, I think, and also Narasi has already utilized AI for your news gathering and also news presenting. So the media and journalism AI usage trend is like state here. It used for the image recognition and automatic tagging, summarizing information, we use that. And then transcription and translation, managing social media content, personalizing content. So it's like what Melissa just said, that even TikTok has already know your preference in music or content or anything, because they use AI to personalize content and improve recommendation, so to boost user engagement. But here, the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism said that the impact of the use of AI on journalism is not yet significant, even though it is used in journalistic activities in increasing. In the next few years, and I think it's not next few years, it's already happening now, that the public is already entertained by the media works created by AI. So I think it's happened. It's already happening, not in a few years, but it's already happening now. And then here, they also said that the use of AI by publishers has occurred for various purposes, but not become a major part of decision making. So when they decide which content they will going to up or they going to gather, still not AI is still not the preference, the priority preference. So it's still human touch needed there. Here is Indonesian current AI governance landscape. The first one, that Indonesia has already had the National AI Strategy, which is published on 2020, and now is on its way to be a presidential decree. So basically, the Indonesia Artificial Intelligence National Strategy is focusing on the talent, manpower, and then try to create the recommendation for data ecosystem and infrastructure, and then how to create the priority sectors and quick wins, and also that it is used ethically in accordance with the values of Pancasila and also in Indonesian regulation. And then also it's supporting the coordinating in the research and development. The second one is, we can see here is Indonesia current AI governance. Why I said that's current, because at this moment, not many Indonesian regulation that has incorporated AI or regulate AI. The first one is government regulation number 5. This is only categorizing AI as a low mid-risk business. And then the second one is the minister regulation. It's just said that it is the Ministry of Communication and Informatics that is become the coordinator in AI regulation in Indonesia and in AI business. And then this circular of the Minister of Communication and Informatics, this is cover the ethics of AI. So here is the direct, I think I can say that it's direct policy to AI governance in Indonesia is the circular of the minister. And then in the context of journalism, AI regulation is still emphasized on, the first one is ethical decision-making frameworks. So media outlets should develop and adopt ethical decision-making frameworks tailored to the use of AI. It should guide journalists and also the media organization itself in assessing the ethical implication of AI technology and making informed decision about its use. So the use of AI needs to be disclosed. You should not use, the media outlet and journalists should not use AI in silence, but they need to be transparent with that. And the second one is the capacity building and awareness, where there is the need or for media and information literacy, not only amongst the journalists, but also to the public, to help individuals critically understand AI-driven content. And also they need to identify potential bias and make informed decisions. And it's not only for journalists, editors, and also media professionals, but also the public at large as the media audience. So how is Indonesia decide their ethical principles? So we work together with community and also the association and also industry. So there is 9 at the moment. There is 9 ethical principles that is becoming becoming the ethical principle that is guidance, that is inclusivity, which is AI needs to be inclusive. And then a second one is humanity, security of the system, and accessibility and transparency. And so this is very important, transparency, because the disclosure of the use of AI needs to be promoted. And then credibility and accountability. So the information that use AIs need to be credible and accountable. AI usage also needs to protect your data, because AI is a big data gathering, so it's possibly to violate personal data. It's possibly to violate any information that you uploaded to the digital. If you set your, like for example, your pictures, it can be fabricated, and then your date of birth, don't put your date of birth on your social media, because it's part of the personal data protection. And also AI needs to be sustainable. So it needs to support the sustainable development and also environment. And the last one is it needs to protect and respect intellectual property. So when it's not yours because it's part of anyone else's intellectual property right. So this is some guidelines that I summarized from several governance on AI in the world. So there is 3 approach. The first approach I take from the EU AI regulation. They just adopted on 13th of March last month. It is AI is a tool. So basically AI is tools. So it needs to be valued in using the risk-based approach. And then there is a responsibility and liability of the developers and also the implementers. And then the second one, we can use the UNESCO's recommendations on the ethics of AI. There is a several approach that needs to be assessed before we are using AI. And then the third one, in terms of, we use the circular letter from our minister. This is what we become our guidelines now. So this one, inclusivity, humanity, safety, and security, and also ethical impact assessment, ethical governance and stewardship, actual data policy, development, and international cooperation, because AI is going, the use of AI-based content is going to be traveled around the globe easily with the help of internet, and then also the environment and ecosystem, and also human rights. So what is the challenge of AI adoption in terms of media and journalism? As a media actor, so AI is, there is a potential misuse. Internet is like a double-edged sword that is have a good side and have a bad side. So it's the same with AI. As a tools, there's a potential misuse of AI. These 6 potential misuse has been widely recognized and this one is also become a discussion at the moment in terms of regulation. And in terms of preventing and combating fake news, so the ministry, the government of Indonesia has actually several programs. The program is basically preventing and then combating. The first and the most priority in Indonesian government is the National Digital Literacy Program, because there's no way what we intend to is to educate people to make them more literate, so they can able to identify themselves, and so they can have the value in terms of content on information, the fake news and everything. And we have several layers of the digital literacy program. And second one is that public participation is a priority part of this program. So we're partnering with social media providers and with the civil society community, press community, and intergovernment collaborations. So this is all is the complaint channel. So if you see hoax news, you see misinformation, you can just report it to this channel. So we do have a website, we have emails, we have Instagrams, Facebook, Twitter, and now X actually. And we have also chatbot on Telegrams, we have the WhatsApp number, so you can use these channels if you want to report regarding the fake news. And then the third one is content filtering. So we do have a systematic cyber patrol. We have complaint line. We also do the clarification of fake news, which hoax stamp releases, and this is a sample of the hoax stamp. So if it's the news hoax, and then we check the fact, and then if it's hoax, and we put stamps like this, and we ask our partners, including media, to share it to the public. And then we also have legal measures to make sure that there is no human rights violated in terms of content filtering, because we still feel that freedom of expression needs to be upheld. And then we also have the Press Council collaborative action to strengthen the press role. So the need to Press Council collaborative action is to strengthen the press role in combating misinformation and disinformation. And then the second one, there is the need to capacity building and certification to enhance the competence of journalists, editors, and media professionals. So I think this is what I can share regarding the AI in terms of regulation approach. I know that there is 2 different regulation approach is shared this, but we can elaborate more during the discussion. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Ides. That was very thought-provoking. I think I can summarize 3 things from your presentation. First, that as of right now, there is a regulatory framework. The second one is the government preparing us, the public, to be more literate and more skillful in using the advanced technology. And lastly, we need the public participation and also the media.
Yeah.
And that's my bridging to you, Mr. Laban. How the media use AI in the daily basis and how the media see AI. So I think it is your time to give us your perspective from narasi. Please, Mr. Laban.
Okay, thank you, Alvin. Yeah, I think I will not only give you the perspective. I mean, not only sharing you the perspective. I will share you also the example how AI can we use AI in our story. And thank you, Nick, for inviting me. But to reduce or to minimize the language barrier, allow me to present in Bahasa, in local language. And if it's not,
That's okay.
it's okay ya.
Kita pakai bahasa. Karena
pakai
kita
bahasa.
cinta bahasa Indonesia juga. Iya.
And for Melissa, Melissa dengar nggak ya?
Yep, Melissa.
I hope you uses AI so you can understand what I'm saying.
I use Google Translate.
Okay, that's good, Melissa. And I hope, I believe Nick has tips in his head, so he know what I'm saying. So, kalau tadi Melissa menjelaskan soal menakut-nakuti kita bahwa AI punya sisi buruk. Ya betul, AI punya sisi buruk teman-teman. Deepfake dan menyebarkan misinformasi. Dan itu juga sudah dijelaskan oleh Mbak Ides tadi ya, bahwa ada hal-hal dan bahkan itu sudah tersebar sejak tahun 2017. 2014 juga sudah ada, nah, tapi bentuknya masih manual. Di 2019 bahkan lebih parah. Ya, itu terjadi setiap masa kampanye. Tapi 2019 juga terjadi apa yang namanya bukan penyebaran informasi, penggunaan AI untuk hal-hal lain. Dia sifatnya netral dan itu digunakan di kampanye. Teman-teman lihat si gemoy kan? Dan itu adalah gambar AI. Dia tidak untuk misinformasi, tapi digunakan. Nah, bagian saya menjelaskan sisi baiknya. Ada sisi buruk yang dijelaskan, ada ditakut-takuti. Contohnya yang sudah disampaikan oleh Melissa. Ada sisi netralnya juga dan bagaimana cara mencegahnya, misalnya dari pihak pemerintah. Lalu kami dari kalangan pers atau media. Seringkali media disebutkan bahwa dia punya peran penting. Sebetulnya peran pentingnya ada di teman-teman semua juga yang menggunakan AI. Bukan cuma dibebankan kepada kami oleh media. Tapi begini, karena perannya besar, maka paling tidak kami mencoba melakukan dulu dan menerapkan bagaimana AI ada di dalam setiap karya jurnalistik kami. Tentu penerapan AI di jurnalisme, di dunia jurnalisme di Indonesia tidak sehebat yang ada di Amerika. Tapi saya bisa percaya dan punya keyakinan kita di Indonesia jauh lebih maju daripada di Eropa. Di Indonesia ada beberapa televisi sudah menggunakannya. Misalnya dengan presenter AI. Mungkin teman-teman udah pernah lihat di televisi ya, yang masih menggunakan menonton televisi terestrial, itu teman-teman pasti menonton. Nah, saya ingin lebih maju daripada itu. Narasi pengen jauh lebih maju daripada itu. Kita tidak hanya menggunakan AI dalam konteks visual saja, tapi kami menggunakan tools AI untuk menganalisa sesuatu. Di narasi, kita menggunakan AI untuk in-depth reporting dan investigasi. Saya ingin menunjukkan satu contoh. Sebetulnya saya membawa dua contoh klip ya. Membawa dua contoh klip di mana AI kami gunakan, macam-macam AI, saya gunakan dalam dua cerita investigasi. Salah satunya adalah, bisa diputar nggak ya teman-teman? Saya memberikan cue dulu. Ini adalah salah satu contohnya.
Kota ini dijuluki ibu kota tuna di Filipina. Hampir 80% pengelolaan tuna di Filipina berlokasi di Gensan. Napas Gensan hidup dari laut. Hampir 200.000 penduduk di kota ini menggantungkan kehidupan dan pendapatan dari industri perikanan. Sebagai sentra industri perikanan, Gensan punya pelabuhan General Santos Fishport Complex yang sangat modern dan luas. Dekat dari situ terdapat bandara yang memudahkan ikan tuna segar dikirim secara kilat ke Eropa, Jepang, atau Amerika. Masalahnya, mayoritas ikan-ikan tuna yang ada di Gensan bukan dari perairan Filipina. Tapi ikan-ikan itu adalah curian dari perairan negara lain, terutama Papua Nugini dan Indonesia. Bagi Gensan, sosok mengerikan itu datang ketika Susi Pujiastuti diangkat jadi menteri.
Menteri Kelautan dan Perikanan. Ibu Susi Pujiastuti.
Grafis-grafis statistik tangkapan ikan ini jadi penanda. Ketika Susi dilantik jadi menteri, roda ekonomi mereka langsung tiarap. Untuk memperkuat hipotesis ini, kami menganalisa jumlah kapal-kapal ikan yang sandar di General Santos dalam kurun 2015 hingga 2017. Analisisnya menggunakan metode kecerdasan buatan yang dikembangkan untuk mendeteksi sebuah objek secara real-time dari dataset SAR Sentinel-1. Lokasi analisa terfokus di pesisir Gensan sepanjang 5,2 km dari Calumpang hingga General Santos Fishport Complex.
Baik, di situ tidak terlihat, tapi itu sebagai teaser saja, supaya teman-teman lihat narasi newsroom buka mata. Ya. Di situ nanti teman-teman akan lihat betapa kami sangat masif menggunakan yang namanya AI tools. Apa saja yang digunakan di dalam situ? Banyak teman-teman. Kalau tadi tidak terlihat di visualnya, karena visualnya akan muncul di video kedua, yang berbeda juga. Kami menggunakan beberapa tools AI yang ada di sini. Di dalam menginvestigasi kapal-kapal yang melakukan illegal fishing, di perbatasan antara Filipina dan Indonesia, kami sampai menggunakan AI yang namanya, kami menggunakan, OSAT. OSAT ini AI yang bisa memetakan kapal-kapal, sekaligus kami bisa mendeteksi dari apa? Lampu kapal. Di situ kita bisa menggunakan, seringkali ya begini, illegal fishing itu biasanya lampunya dimatiin tuh di tengah-tengah di tengah-tengah laut, biar tidak terdeteksi. Tapi ada residu lampu itu yang bisa ditangkap oleh si AI ini, yang ditempelin di dalam satelit. Itu satu. Belum lagi scraping datanya. Kami menggunakan banyak sekali AI. Nah, untuk untuk menggunakan visualisasinya, kami biasanya menggunakan Midjourney. Ini visualisasi untuk ilustrasinya. Ada satu lagi yang namanya runway, convert a still image to video. Jadi teman-teman itu bisa, AI itu bukan cuma tampilan si gemoy saja, bukan kita misalnya mengubah gambar avatar dari Mas Alvin menjadi kartun ya. Enggak, banyak sekali tools AI yang bisa kita gunakan. Nah, saya ingin membuktikan kalau bicara AI, itu yang ada tentu harus ada di kepala kita. Kalau kita mau menggunakannya baik, maka akan jadinya baik. Tapi kalau kita menggunakan mau merugikan orang, jadinya deepfake atau misinformasi dan segala macam. Kira-kira begitu. Nah, saya ingin mencontohkan lagi satu karya yang ini lebih masif dari sebelumnya, di mana kami menggunakan itu sampai sering data yang ada di digital, kami analyze lagi, menjadi dan membuktikan ada sebuah operasi dari Rusia yang menggunakan media di Indonesia dan mempengaruhi teman-teman untuk menyaksikan kehebatan Rusia. Ini videonya.
Di era digital saat ini, propaganda berubah wajahnya. Media sosial dan platform digital jadi medan pertempuran baru. Manipulasi algoritma jadi bagian dari strategi, membuat kita jadi korban dalam pertempuran naratif global. Perang Ukraina jadi contoh kecil bagaimana pertarungan digital berlangsung, dan Rusia adalah salah satu lakon utama dalam teater propagandanya. Narasi berkolaborasi dengan Remo TV dan Center for Information Resilience melakukan investigasi mendalam terkait ini, dengan kanal YouTube Tribun Timur sebagai sampel utama. Kami memantau lebih dari 18.000 video yang rilis sejak Februari 2022 hingga Juni 2023. Kami mengumpulkan jutaan komentar dan menganalisisnya. Kami juga memasang perangkap dan menyebarkannya di berbagai grup Telegram untuk mencari tahu dari mana muara operasi berlangsung. Hingga akhirnya terungkap diduga kuat beberapa turis Rusia di Bali terlibat dalam operasi ini. Influence Operation. Istilah ini mungkin cukup asing buat kamu, yakni sebuah upaya memanipulasi informasi. Perang Ukraina adalah contoh kecil bagaimana influence operation masif terjadi di sini.
Oke, ini awalnya karena iseng. Jadi dari iseng nonton tim saya gitu ya, namanya Akwam Hanifan. Dia adalah salah satu jagonya OSIN, jurnalis yang memang punya kemampuan OSIN ya. OSIN itu Open Source Intelligence kalau teman-teman dipahami ya. Jadi awalnya kita nonton video perang Ukraina. Tapi setiap kita nonton di YouTube, di searchnya di bagian kalau kita search gitu ya, perang Ukraina, Rusia Ukraina, yang muncul selalu Tribun gitu. Kita menggunakan coba IP address dari yang lain. Sama. Kok Tribun aja yang muncul ya gitu. Selalu Tribun gitu. Media Indonesia, ini ada apa ya gitu. Curiga lah kita. Dari sana kita menemukan cek data-data dari komentar-komentarnya. Lucunya, komentar-komentar yang muncul adalah huruf akrilik. Ini enggak masuk akal. Buat kami tidak masuk akal gitu ya. Pasti ada sesuatu yang bisa dibongkar dari sini. Lalu kami cek. Kami sedot tuh jutaan komentar yang muncul. Jadi kami dalam sebulan itu ada 700 video atau 7.000 video, saya agak lupa. Ada 700 video yang kami cek satu persatu. Apakah video ini memang diproduksi organik? Maksud saya komentarnya organik gak sih dari kita? Kita sedot datanya. Komentarnya kita sedot dan itu betul jutaan. Tapi bagaimana cara kami mengolahnya ya? Jutaan itu bisa tahunan. Bisa 2 tahunan kali ya. Sementara perangnya mungkin udah dimenangin sama Amerika. Enggak, bukan itu. Itu joke. Kita nggak tahu. Kira-kira kita bingung gitu. Kita sedot, kita pindahin ke yang namanya Excel. Tapi gimana caranya kita membaginya, men-scrapingnya. Karena kita tidak tahu, kita tanya ke Google, gimana sih caranya scraping data yang ada di komentar ini dengan melalui Excel spread gitu. Muncul tuh, ada AI yang bisa digunakan untuk scraping data. Sekali lagi, kita nggak develop apa-apa, tapi kita utilize dengan apa yang sudah ada. Ini lagi-lagi soal perspektif teman-teman. Kalau teman-teman ingin menggunakan yang lebih baik, maka akan jadi yang baik. Lalu kami menggunakan yang namanya YCS. Ini data untuk men-scraping komentar dari komentar dari video-video yang terupload. Ada sekitar 2.000 video dengan jutaan komentar tadi gitu ya. Terus data tadi kita unduh, lalu kita ubah dalam versinya CSV. Nanti kalau nanya jangan teknis ya. Kalau teknis agak sulit saya menjelaskannya. Tapi kira-kira begitulah. Nah dari situ kami mengembangkan lagi. Dapat tuh akhirnya teman-teman datanya kita pisahin, kita ngecek lagi IP address-nya. Ternyata orang-orang yang memberikan komentar di situ itu adanya di mana IP address-nya? Di Bali. Lucu ini. Agak lucu gitu. Kami memetakan dari orang di Bali ini sampai akhirnya ada di Moskow. Mereka dipekerjakan sebagai, teman-teman pasti dengar yang namanya digital nomad. Kepanjangan ya Mas? Oke, ada yang digital nomad. Di sana tuh ada kampung yang namanya kampung Rusia gitu. Tapi kita tidak bisa membuktikan satu-satu ya. Intinya mereka itu beroperasi dari Bali. Beroperasi dari Bali dan dilihat dari IP address-nya. Hanya dari kecurigaan kecil-kecil kami aja. Lalu kami buka itu gitu. Nah, di dalam karya yang tadi, dalam 2 detik pertama teman-teman pasti lihat, itu bukan kami yang buat. Tapi ChatGPT itu, nggak perlu diulang lagi ya Mas ya. Tapi dalam 2 detik, 3 detik, ada nih gambar salah satu anak narasi, terus tiba-tiba berubah dia. Nah, kami menggunakan prompt khusus gitu, yang kira-kira berkaitan dengan perang Ukraina, munculnya kayak gitu. Jadi ada 2 hal tadi. Kami menggunakan data visualisasinya dari ChatGPT, sekaligus juga menganalisanya dari AI, dengan menggunakan AI. Nah di situ kami juga menggunakan Agelix misalnya. Ini tools AI-nya untuk data cleaning dan analisis di spreadsheet. Itu teman-teman bisa menggunakannya. Jadi kalau misalnya mau skripsi nih, gunakan Agelix saja. Pasti dosen-dosen di UMN sama di SM Unggul nggak ngerti itu, percaya deh. Karena gue udah ngomong, karena saya udah ngomong pasti jadi ngerti juga. Gitu. Itu memudahkan kita teman-teman. Kedua, kami menggunakan namanya Perplexity AI. Ini tadi ya, itu digunakan untuk screening video mana yang layak diunduh lah kira-kira. Banyak sebetulnya yang saya pengen ungkap data-datanya di sini. Tapi saya pikir 2 video tadi itu membuktikan bahwa sebetulnya penggunaan AI di jurnalisme itu sudah hampir pasti sedang berlangsung dan akan berlangsung jauh lebih masif lagi. Mungkin narasi baru pertama, saya boleh mengklaim ya, narasi baru orang yang pertama, tapi media yang pertama. Tapi sesungguhnya teman-teman sudah menggunakannya. Saya yakin banyak menggunakan DeepL di sini. Karena saya hampir tiap hari menggunakan DeepL gitu. Kalau misalnya Nick buka email saya lihat, oh saya nggak ngerti ini apa yang diomongin ya, saya buka DeepL gitu. Itu kan AI juga gitu. Tapi intinya teman-teman, saya mengembalikan tadi ya, kalau saya bicara tadi hal yang baik, saya ingin mengembalikan lagi. Tugas kami tentu tidak akan bisa mereduce yang namanya misinformasi. Misinformasi kalau nggak dibantu sama teman-teman. Begitu juga dengan deepfake gitu ya. Karena untuk membuktikan deepfake itu memang agak sulit. Sampai sekarang belum ada tools. Atau saya belum tahu. Mungkin belum tahu. Membuktikan ini deepfake atau bukan gitu ya. Mungkin saya belum tahu. Tapi saya yakin itu akan ke depan. Atau akan ke depan. Nah lagi-lagi saya ingin mengajak teman-teman bahwa untuk menghalau misinformasi bukan hanya tugasnya narasi saja atau media saja, tapi saya berharap teman-teman menggunakannya juga untuk menghalau yang namanya misinformasi. Karena saya ingin menyentil yang namanya Mbak Ides nih, ya. Karena misinformasi itu juga, itu bahkan bisa dilakukan oleh penguasa, ya. Kalau bahasanya Rocky Gerung, siapa yang dia punya kuasa dia bisa membuat misinformasi sangat jauh lebih lebih masif juga. Begitu teman-teman, terima kasih.
Okay, thank you Mr. Laban for the presentation. So from Mr. Laban, we can learn that we can use AI for our own benefits and also for the benefit for the public. So now it is time to open the floor for question, especially to the on-site audience. Apakah ada yang mau bertanya? Dan silahkan, you can use bahasa or you can try to use English. We are very welcome gitu. Yang penting stay concise to the question, or you can comments from the 3 speakers. Mungkin ada yang mau bertanya? And also I invite the participant in the online platform to submit your question and I will read it your question to the speakers. Bagi yang join online silakan juga kalau mau bertanya, nanti akan saya tampung dan saya bacakan kepada para speakersnya. Mungkin dari Esa Unggul, ada kayaknya tadi ada ini bisik-bisik gitu. Oke, ada dari UMN, ya silahkan mungkin ada, nah itu ada rekan yang akan menyampaikan mic. Please stand up and state your name and be concise with your question.
Hi, thanks for letting me asking the question. My name is Giovanni Sasmita from University of Multimedia Nusantara, but I will use Bahasa Indonesia because I want to ask for the Mr. from the narracy. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Mr. Laban.
Okay, Mr. Laban, I'm sorry. I wanna ask that, jadi kan selama ini kita selalu takut kayaknya ya sama AI gitu. Tapi banyak juga yang bilang bahwa posisi jurnalis nanti tuh profesinya yang akan digantikan oleh AI. Tapi ada juga pihak yang berkata bahwa kita tuh sebenarnya nggak usah takut tergantikan sama AI kalau si jurnalisnya itu bisa menguasai AI. Nah, kira-kira apakah 5 tahun ke depannya posisi profesi jurnalis di Indonesia ini memang semuanya perlu capable bisa menggunakan AI atau gimana ya Pak? Dan juga kan ini tentang secara kultural, aku pengen nanya kalau kayaknya ya di AI itu yang aku lihat tuh secara cultural itu mereka tuh bias gitu. Misalkan bisa salah kostum tradisional misalkan kayak gitu. Pokoknya secara kultural tuh salah gitu. Kita gimana ya, generate the images but they conduct the picture wrong gitu. Nah, kalau kayak gitu tuh gimana cara kita untuk meminimalisir kesalahan budaya yang digunakan yang terjadi pada AI kayak gitu. Thank you.
Oke. Thank you for the question. Mungkin langsung Mas Laban bisa langsung merespon.
Siapa tadi namanya lupa?
Fred Giovanni.
Geo ya. Geo. Saya ngomong 5 tahun ke depan dulu ya. Apakah misalnya semua jurnalis nantinya harus menggunakan ini? Saya berpikir bahwa kita memang harus adaptasi itu harus. Paling tidak dia mengerti tools standar. Apakah itu akan digunakan dalam karya jurnalistiknya, itu hal yang berbeda. Nah, teman-teman juga perlu pahami gitu, saya menjawab Geo ini. Nanti trennya itu untuk sesuatu, untuk daily content, itu mungkin bisa jadi digunakan oleh AI. Makanya trennya sekarang untuk para jurnalis itu tidak lagi berharap atau membuat konten yang konteksnya adalah daily basis, daily content. Yang akan menang itu adalah konten-konten in-depth dan investigasi. Gitu teman-teman. Jadi kalau masih tetap ada di jalur yang harian, sosial media semua mata bisa menjadi jurnalis. Jadi buat apa gitu? Saya pikir udah hilang, trennya udah hilang. Apakah akan tergantikan gitu ya posisi jurnalis ini? Saya akan memahaminya bahwa jurnalisme nanti ujungnya adalah hanya sebuah nilai gitu ya. Semua orang bisa jurnalis, misalnya gitu ya. Ini keyakinan saya sampai detik ini bahwa value-nya tetap masih ada dan itu bisa digunakan oleh siapa saja yang mungkin namanya jadi berbeda gitu. Nah, berkaitan dengan tadi makanya jurnalis sekarang itu bedanya jurnalis dengan yang bukan kan adalah kami tunduk pada kode etik, pada code of conduct, ya. Kami tunduk pada itu gitu. Sementara yang lain-lain kan enggak. Nah, makanya saya tadi bilang kalau selama kita masih dapat value itu semua orang bisa jadi jurnalis, saya pikir itu satu. Kedua itu pertanyaannya saya agak lupa, Geo, soal apa tadi? Oh iya, ya oke. Sesederhana ini Geo, kalau 5 tahun ke depan mungkin dia sudah jauh lebih canggih. Si AI jauh lebih mengerti dan bisa merekam itu semua ya. Maksud saya bisa nggak salah lagi dia. Namanya juga belajar tiap hari kan gitu. Tapi pada intinya gini, di dalam video yang pertama tadi, kenapa kami tidak menggunakan AI secara full dan masif? Tapi ada beberapa yang dari OSAT yang kami menggunakan gitu. Karena kami nggak mungkin gitu ya ngerekam sesuatu ada aktivitas nelayan terus pakai AI gitu. Ya harus nerjunin orang gitu. Prinsip kerja jurnalisme kalau cuma nongkrong doang di depan komputer ya memang ada yang namanya pakai metode OSIN tadi, tapi itu jadinya cuma jadi cek fakta gitu. Yang namanya jurnalisme dia harus turun ke lapangan untuk memverifikasi. Kalau verifikasinya gitu, tadi tools itu hanya untuk membantu kita memverifikasi. Apa yang terjadi di lapangan bisa jadi sangat berbeda. Gitulah kira-kira. Nah, Tadi kalau menggunakan, kan konteks budayanya bisa jadi beda. Ya nggak usah dipakai. Sesimpel itu aja jawabannya. Lah, gambar AI yang salah, kita masih mau pakai? Ya jangan gitu. Kita bisa membodohi publik gitu. Maka kita akan menjadi bagian orang yang menyebarkan disinformasi. Kalau kita masih menggunakan AI yang salah. Kita tahu dia masih belajar. Jadi terus kita menggunakan sesuatu. Dan kesalahan yang berikutnya adalah kalau kita tidak disclose. Ya kan, tadi Mbak Ides bilang tuh. Kalau kita udah ngomong tuh di tengah-tengah, kita menggunakan AI ini ya gitu. Kita harus menggunakan entah di ujung, entah di tengah-tengah, kita harus jujur kepada publik misalnya bahwa kita menggunakan AI. Nah, saya ingin membawa sesuatu yang berbeda sebetulnya. Apakah jurnalisme saat ini gitu, tantangan jurnalisme itu bukan di situ. Tantangan yang terbesar adalah copyright, teman-teman. Itu tantangan yang terbesar. Contoh buat narasi ini. Atau buat, jangankan bukan buat hanya narasi deh. Buat media-media arus utama. Di Amerika sudah sangat maju. Beberapa media di Amerika sudah memasang ada alat gitu yang si AI tidak bisa nyedot data dari dia. Kebayang kan? Nah, bagaimana dengan narasi? Narasi itu homeless media. Dia nggak punya website. Dia menyerahkan atau menjadi hamba sosial media untuk bagian distribusi. Begitu kita taruh di YouTube, di Instagram, di TikTok, di Twitter atau X, di Facebook, maka AI punya kesempatan menyedot data dari yang dibuat oleh narasi. Itu ancaman buat kami, maka AI itu tidak mengakui copyright kami gitu loh. Itu ancaman banget tuh buat kita. Makanya dibutuhkan Mbak Ides ya untuk bisa membuat aturan-aturan yang berpihak kepada jurnalisme yang bagus, yang berkualitas, ya bahasa-bahasanya begitulah ya, atau bisa menggiring bahwa penggunaan AI ini sangat berpihak kepada masyarakat, misalnya bicara soal copyright dan segala macam. Itu tantangan terbesarnya teman-teman. Bukan hal-hal yang tadi itu secara teknis bisa kita jawab. Tantangan terbesar itu copyright. Dan media-media di Indonesia belum sadar itu teman-teman. Dia masih membuka websitenya kepada publik atau yang bisa disedot oleh AI. Sehingga begitu AI kembali meredistribusi itu nggak ada lagi tuh namanya dia, nama yang memproduksi atau media yang memproduksi. Kira-kira gitu ya. Terima kasih Alvin.
Okay, thank you Mr. Laban, and also thank you for the question. Maybe you care to add comments based from what Mr. Laban explained before I give it another opportunity to ask from the floor, please, Ms. Ides.
Izinkan saya untuk menambahkan dalam bahasa Indonesia ya, karena tadi pertanyaan dalam bahasa Indonesia. Please excuse me Melissa, I'm going to speak in Indonesia. Oke, benar kata yang disampaikan oleh Mas Laban bahwa jangan takut bahwa suatu pekerjaan atau masa depan dengan AI itu membuat kita menjadi sulit. Sulit iya, tapi hilang tidak. Karena semua still needs human touch. Dan rezim regulasi atau AI governance itu sudah yang pertama mereka kedepankan adalah human centric. Kedua, dia tidak boleh melanggar human rights. Artinya dia tetap sentralnya adalah manusia. Kemudian ketika bicara AI sebagai tools, dia bukan sebagai penentu. Sehingga memang manusia yang harus mengontrol AI. Karena AI adalah tools. Dan ketiga, rezim regulasinya adalah risk based. Artinya nanti ke depan insya Allah ya mungkin mudah-mudahan Mas Laban yang saat ini sedang masuk di dalam diskusi regulasi adalah bagaimana kita mengkategorikan penggunaan AI di dalam setiap kategori resiko. Jadi ada yang memang ketika dia resiko tinggi sehingga dia tidak boleh. Ada yang dia tidak perlu diatur karena dia mungkin resikonya rendah. Kalau bicara soal copyright challenge, betul bahwa memang copyright challenge itu memang menjadi permasalahan dan ini udah harusnya dari sekarang. Di Indonesia belum terasa karena orang Indonesia masih unaware soal pentingnya copyright. Karena di kita juga piracy masih banyak. Plagiarism juga masih mengemuka dari level terendah hingga level tertinggi, itu kita harus akui. Makanya kalau Kominfo ditanya program apa yang menjadi prioritas, bukan content filtering tapi literasi. Karena harus dari manusianya yang memahami bagaimana mengatur level-level resiko tadi. Jadi level resiko tadi tidak ditentukan oleh tools namun oleh manusia. Nah, kemudian tadi apalagi yang saya dicolek terus sama Mas Laban, kami berusaha Mas, bagaimana kita bicara soal saving quality journalism, karena memang kehadiran media actors itu memang mulai mendisrupsi bisnis model media yang luar biasa. Dan mudah-mudahan dengan kerjasama tentunya di sini pemerintah sebenarnya hanya sebagai encouraging, pendorong ketika bicara pers governance in Indonesia, because it's highly based to the press community itself. Karena we have a very rigid regulation in terms of freedom of the press that separate government from the press community. Tapi kerjasama dengan komunitas pers, kerjasama dengan semua orang-orang yang peduli pada pers itu kami lakukan supaya kita bisa mendorong regulasi yang tetap berpihak. Jadi keberpihakan regulasi itu memang sangat penting dan saat ini kita sudah melakukannya dengan yang namanya meaningful participation. Setiap regulasi tidak akan dikeluarkan tanpa adanya uji publik, tanpa adanya partisipasi dari masyarakat. Itu saja tambahan dari saya. Terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih Bu Ides. Thank you, Miss Ides. If is there any question? Okay, we have another question.
Thank you, Mas. I would like to ask for Ma'am Melissa, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so hi Melissa, my name is Anis. I'm from President University. I would like to ask, all the one that you mentioned is all the bad things from AI, right? All the bad things that happen because of AI. I want to know your thoughts. Do you still believe that AI will be in good use in the future, or you think that no, AI has to be vanished because all the AI done is very, very bad? Or you still have hope for AI in the future? From you, Melissa, and then for Miss Bu
Ides.
Bu Ines? Okay, Bu Ines, I would like to ask, like, do you have in the governance, like, do you have any plan for the new policies for the media itself? Because all I see, you mentioned that the priority areas is all healthcare, education, and smart cities. One of them is like, I didn't see any media here, but we know that media is one of the biggest source of information. So I want to know, do you have any plans in that, or do you have anything in your slave in the governance? So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. What is your name? Anis. Okay. Hopefully you will become, yeah, Mr. Anis. Okay, thank you, Mr. Anis. And first, Miss Melissa, Anis asked you a question. Basically, it's the question about today's discussion. Is AI a boon or a drawback? Please, Miss Melissa.
So, Anis, thank you for the question. I think it's actually both. At the boon part of the innovation is that we can now use the algorithms and the artificial intelligence to process large volumes of data that we really as people can't do. And so we need to take advantage of the computers, to take advantage of the math, to process large amounts of data. And I think that it will be applied in many different ways. First, I think that it will be applied in the healthcare industry to start to look at diseases and or health problems from an interdisciplinary connection, and be able to create solutions to problems that we've been dealing with for decades or hundreds of years, whether that is a new disease or a new cancer or different things. So I think that there'll be positive applications from an artificial intelligence and from the innovation from that perspective. I also think that you would see innovation in material science, where we can find new composites for metals that might be stronger than the current composites, and new different applications from a physics, chemistry, biology perspective. So again, interdisciplinary is where I see the advances. And then you can also start to see from a logistics or other different types of efficiencies that artificial intelligence may bring to an industry. I think those are the positives. So that would be the boon. And then the bane is, I think it will be weaponized. And it's being weaponized from an information perspective, but I think that the same types of benefits that we could see from the technology and science perspective, you could probably see something else unexpected be weaponized from the technology. So thank you for the question.
Okay, are you satisfied, Mr. Anis? He is satisfied, Miss Melissa. Okay, next up, please, Miss
Boleh
Ines.
pakai bahasa Indonesia? Okay, excuse me again, Melissa, because it's quite a complicated questions. Jadi kenapa media tidak masuk? Itu adalah studi literatur bahwa di dunia, di ASEAN sendiri, AI governance itu belum mengkategorikan media sebagai priority sector. So media isn't become the priority for in AI governance within the Asian countries. Nah, kemudian adalah tapi kita melihat bahwa harusnya ada, betul ya. Jadi sehingga kita melihat saya sendiri ketika diundang untuk acara ini saya sangat karena diskusi AI Discourse itu lagi hangat di Indonesia. Hampir semua komunitas baik akademisi, kemudian asosiasi, kemudian praktisi itu mendiskusikan AI Discourse, bagaimana mereka akan menyikapi ini. Nah, saya membuat pemetaan terhadap beberapa regulasi yang ada di dunia. Pertama EU, kedua UNESCO, EU bahkan udah diadopsi sebagai AI Act. Kemudian saya juga membaca yang di Amerika, tapi kalau Amerika dia memang nurturing innovation, dia tidak mengatur etika, dia tidak mengatur pemanfaatan, tapi dia nurturing innovation, sehingga innovation yang di nurture AI innovation nurtured in the US itu dia membangun sistem yang memungkinkan dimanfaatkan secara positif, tapi dia juga kayak semacam antidotesnya dibuat juga gitu loh. Artinya dia memanfaatkan AI untuk katakanlah untuk menarik data, tapi dia juga membuat mesin berbasis AI untuk menahan data itu ditarik. Jadi menarik itu kalau di Amerika di nurture seperti itu. Nah, kalau di Eropa dia model regulasinya adalah dia meregulate untuk framework supaya bisa ada similarities within the EU countries. Jadi yang diatur sama mereka itu dia tidak menyebutkan jurnalisme, tapi dia menyebutkan kepada konten, kepada text-based generative AI system. Dan itu sebenarnya bisa juga kita gunakan untuk bicara bahwa ini bisa diatur untuk industri media ataupun jurnalisme. Nah, sehingga rezimnya yang kami lihat adalah kalau di UNESCO juga dia menyebutkan soal jurnalisme, tapi memang lebih sama saja. Yang pertama pasti akan dikeluarkan adalah transparansi, accountability, and credibility. Jadi disclosed itu sangat penting. Informed decision, artinya ketika suatu media outlet memutuskan menggunakan AI in any terms of their process in journalistic activities or in their decision making process, they need to disclose. Jadi audience tahu, so we know we are being informed that they are using AI in their regular daily basis. Nah, ini yang akhirnya menjadi suatu spektrum di mana sebenarnya AI governance general itu bisa berlaku di hampir semua sektor priority ketika dia bersifat governance, artinya tidak mengikat. Tapi kalau if we want to highly regulate AI governance, we need to find the spectrum within the risk base. Jadi each industry has a different risk in using AI. Nah, itu yang harus dipahami dulu oleh si regulator, which is kadangkala regulator itu berkejar-kejaran dengan teknologi advancement itu sangat luar biasa. Karena teknologi advance itu dilakukan daily basis. Regulasi kadang-kadang kita kajiannya aja bisa berbulan-bulan bahkan bertahun-tahun untuk menemukan formula yang tepat. But at least saat ini dengan adanya beberapa rezim pengaturan atau regulation regime within the global, itu kita ada beberapa sampel, Indonesia khususnya. Indonesia have several sample that we can adopt or we can just compare and to find our best benchmarking in term of regulation. Because AI is a living document. It keeps advancing. So the regulations need to be spectrum and it needs to be layered. Jadi nggak boleh kita meregulate sesuatu itu langsung regulasi harga mati, terus sanksinya ini, penaltinya ini, kalau digunakan seperti ini, itu akan mematikan inovasi. Of course we don't want that. We still want to innovate with the global citizen, right? Indonesia harusnya seperti itu, karena we are a big, very big country. We have more than 270 million people in Indonesia. So I think it's best to have a different approach. And itu harus berpihak. Jadi regulasinya memang harus berpihak. Jadi mohon doanya supaya ada satu formula yang tepat yang bisa ditemukan dalam waktu yang tidak terlalu lama dalam meregulasi AI di Indonesia ini. Terima kasih.
Amin. All the best for the Indonesian government.
Not only government.
Oh yeah.
All
of us.
All of us.
To the citizen of world. Okay, we only have one more question. Is there any question? Yes, from women. Wah, I'm sorry. Maybe after this you can just reach to the speakers by yourself. Okay. To the gentleman. Yeah. Berdiri. Berdiri.
Hi, my name's Ryan or Rian in Indonesia. I would like to ask Miss Ines about the...
Miss Ides.
Ides. I'm sorry. I would like to know the stance on the Indonesian government because you said yourself that Indonesia's information isn't in the top priority of whatever Indonesia is doing, right? So I would like to know, with AI, what is the possibility form of control towards it? Would it be in favor of the machine or would it be in favor of the man? Terima kasih. Thank you.
Well, I think there is a misperception here. It's not that I said that information is not priority. It's based on the ASEAN studies that most of the AI governance publication, whether it's frameworks or regulation, have priority sectors, and information and media has not been in it. I mean, I think that it's not because they don't really think that information as part of the priority, but since it is possibly that most of AI governance publication that has been published within the ASEAN country is nurturing the innovation. So AI is basically has many good things, positive way in terms of those sectors like healthcare, education, but that's why I said that it's not because the government of Indonesia is not prioritizing that. It's the study based on the ASEAN landscape. So it's the first one. So I think we should agree that Indonesian government doesn't see information as not priority. It's all priority. That's why we prefer to have a soft regulation that's through the circular letter from the minister that cover all industry. So the ethical values of AI is can be adopted by all industry. This is our choice now because because we need to have, like I said before, we need to have a layer risk-based assessment to see whether which is the priority to regulate. Regarding whether it's man or it's the machine, so I think that based on the AI governance landscape in Indonesia, the one who is being regulated or being approached is the developer and also the implementer. So it's not the machine, it's not the innovation that being governing, that being governance, but it's the who using the machine. It's the AI developers, the AI business actors, or the electronic system providers. That is the individuals or in corporations that needs to be targeted. And I think it's also based on the ASEAN AI landscape study. It also shown in several AI governance frameworks that is being published for most of the countries in the world. So I think for now, it's not the machine. Again, AI is a tool. It should not be regulated. It's not the tool that being regulated, but the person who implement it, who develop it, so it will be used in ethical way and respecting human rights.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ires. I think that's all the time that we have for today's discussion. I would like to express our gratitude to the three distinguished speakers. Yes, to Miss Melissa, who woke up early in the morning and still joined with us until the end of this event, and also to Ms. Ides, and also to Mr. Laban. I believe it takes various parties to contribute, the government to create the regulation, of course, the media and also the industry to utilize the AI ethically, and also to the general public. You need to increase the literacy level and use it wisely. And once again, we hope you found today's session informative and thought-provoking. I think that's all. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much buat Pak Silvanus Alvin. Thank you so much buat Bu Ides. Thank you so much to Pak Laban. And thank you so much Melissa. And of course to Pak Nick Kaisinger. And thank you so much to our audiences today from Universitas Multimedia Nusantara. Thank you so much. And Universitas Esa Unggul. Thank you so much for coming and joining our discussion today. Earlier at this event, we have trivia quiz for you who join us via online platforms. And the question was, is it true or false? AI will be far from the only thing that shapes the news and the public arena in the coming years. And the correct answer is true. Journalism is not fundamentally altered by a single technology. It interacts with institutions and other forces in society and economy. So congratulations to @Babila from Instagram, who is the fastest one who can guess correctly. The last, to keep update for our next amazing events here in America, you can follow our social media. We have on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, America. Thank you so much for joining with us. My name is Patricia Elizabeth, and see you at the next America events. Bye.